All right, shalom, 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 family. You are live and direct with your Akazaki Yahoo. As always, I'm giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bashem Hamashiach Yahushua wa Malak, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom, wa baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day when the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies, our adversaries, and all those who hate us under our feet. All praises to the Almighty Yah. Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. All right. So you're back with another AOY video review. And this happens to be this happens to fall into the category of a general lesson as well. Because we're going to do some teaching, some Bible teaching here today. But before we jump into anything, let's remind you, pray with us. Pray with us, Israel. Pray with us, so called black man, woman. Pray with us. Pray with us to the Most High, our power. All right, we're asking you to pray with us daily until Hamashiach return. In the morning when we wake up, before we have dinner time, and before we go to bed. Those 3 times a day we should be praying. Also, do your normal prayer. Well, before we get to the prayer, make sure you have your all natural frankincense and myrrh incense burning. Do your normal prayer, whether it's the Our Father which art in heaven prayer or a general prayer, thanking the Most High, extolling the Most High, asking for your sins to be forgiven, remembering the Most High of the sins of our ancestors, confessing those sins, asking for barakah for the nation, for your tribe, for your community, for your household, whatever the case, and then asking for barakah uh, for all those who are around you and who mean something to you. Uh, and then adding these prayers in Psalms chapter 25, 2 through 7, Psalms chapter 31, 17 through 21, Luke chapter 1, 68 through 75, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 36, 1 through 17, and the book of Second Maccabees chapter 1, verses 24 through 30. All right, all these turn into a super powerful prayer that will uh, invoke the Most High to move on our behalf, to free us from this captivity, and to uh, curse the evildoers. And how do we know that these things will work? I tell you exactly how. Because Hamashiach taught us. In the book of Luke, chapter 18, starting in verse 1, Hamashiach is teaching here. All right? And he is Hamashiach, spake a parable unto them to this end, that men are always to pray and not faint, saying that there was in a city a judge which feared not the Most High, neither regarded man. So this particular judge, this isn't a courtroom judge as you would think about. This isn't a night court judge. This is more of a governor. All right. So this is a governor. Even though it's calling him a judge, it's a judge like Shimshon was a judge. It's a judge like Deborah was a judge. It's a judge like Joshua was a judge. All right, or Gideon. All right. So this particular judge was not a righteous judge because he feared not the Most High and he did not regard man. All right. And there was in that city a widow. All right. And she came unto the judge saying, avenge me of my adversary. So this particular judge was hearing from a widow who was in the city and she was asking for a avenge of her adversary. And he would not for a while. But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man. So this particular judge, this particular governor, he wouldn't hear or do what the widow was asking him. he would not avenge her of her adversary. But afterward he said within himself, even though he's not a righteous judge, he don't fear the Most High, he doesn't regard man. Yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she wearies me. So his concern is that this widow was troubling him. So because this widow was coming to him, asking him this constantly, that this was his concern. Least by her continual coming, she wearies me. She wearies him. That was his concern in this particular aspect. When you get to the next verse, it says, and the master said, hear what the unjust judge said. So we just saw what the unjust judge said. Even though he's not a righteous judge, even though he's not a righteous governor, he would do it not because of his righteousness. He would do it because he doesn't want this woman to get on his nerve. Verse 7, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? So think about it like this. Hamashiach is teaching us, even though this unrighteous judge can come to such a conclusion, imagine the Most High, the supreme judge of righteousness. Imagine how he feels about the unrighteousness, about the injustice done against our people, and all this evil and wickedness that surrounds us every day. What if we cry to him day and night, which cry day and night unto him, even though he's been bearing long with us? We've been here for hundreds of years. Before that, the sub-Saharan slave trade. Before that, the Roman captivity. Before that, the Greek captivity. Before that, the Medo-Persian captivity. Before that, the Babylonian captivity and the Assyrian captivity. All these captivities, and even before that, we had captivities. If you go into the book of Judges, you'll read about the various captivities, the various judges that the Most High raised up to deliver us from these particular captivities. And yet, he's bared long with us for all this time, though he bare long with us. All right, verse 8, Slaki. I tell you, this is Hamashiach teaching this now, understand. I tell you, he will avenge them. So yes, he will avenge us. And how? Speedily. And then he leaves us with a question. He says, nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, will he find faith in the earth? So when Hamashiach returns, will he find faith in the earth? What faith is he looking for? If he's looking for Christian faith, is he looking for Muslim faith? Is he looking for Buddhist faith? No. He is looking for your faith. He is looking for my faith. He was looking for the faith of the children of Israel. He is looking, or he's coming because of our faith, of our belief, and us crying to the Most High. If you remember in the book of Shemot of Exodus, the children of Israel cried unto Yahuwah. They cried unto the Most High, the power of Israel, because of the harsh bondage of the Mizrahites, the Egyptians. They cried to the Most High, and the Most High was moved because of it. He moved. He didn't sit still. He didn't do nothing. He moved because of the harsh bondage, because of their oppression, because of the hard times that our people were having at that time. He moved. And what did he do? He selected Moshe. And he went through the whole process of delivering Israel, the Israelites, from the Mizrahites. And he said, greater will this exodus be than that Exodus. This second Exodus will be so much greater that no more will it be said, Yahuwah, power of Israel, who delivered them out of the land of the Mizrites. But it's going to be said, Yahuwah, power of Israel, who delivered them from all the lands wherein they were scattered. That is what the Most High have promised us. That is what we are counting on. And that is what is going to come to pass. The question is, when Hamashiach returns, will he find your faith in the earth? Will he find your belief that brought him here? That is the question. All praises to the Abba. Let's go ahead on to the video. Remember, pray with us in the morning, before dinner, before bed. All of these wonderful scriptures that we're using to pray. We're not reinventing the wheel. I got these on my Facebook page, by the way. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're using what the Most High have given us. That's why I compulated these on my Facebook page right at the top. They're pinned to the top. Number one thing you're going to see when you come on my page. All right? Telahim 25, 2 through 7. Telahim 31, 17 through 21. Luke 1, 68 through 75. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach 36, 1 through 17. And our captivity prayer, 2 Maccabees, chapter 1, 24 through 30. Make that prayer your own and use it 3 times a day. It is a deadly weapon of protection. And guess what? It's not illegal. It's not illegal. Nobody is going to outlaw the praying to the Most High. They can't. As long as your brain is working, they cannot stop us from seeking the Most High with our words, with our thoughts, with our hearts. They cannot stop it. All praises to the Abba. Let's get to the video review. This first video comes to us from DontaesBoxingNation. All right. This is a white journalist is shocked after asking this particular question. But before he gets into that, he sets up a magnificent thought process of, in comparison, a similitude between Superman and what exists in the world today. Check this out.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So we all know who Superman is, obviously. But who is Superman's biggest nemesis? Who's his biggest rival? It's Lex Luthor, right? And Lex Luthor is completely obsessed with Superman because Superman has natural gifts. He has natural superpowers that Lex Luthor does not have, which enrages Lex Luthor with envy. And this is the reason why Lex Luthor, he hates Superman. He despises him while maintaining an obsession that is uncontrollable. All he thinks about in his life is how can he destroy Superman. He knows that he has no superpowers. He knows that he has no physical gifts. So his best weapon against Superman is his vast corporate wealth, his money, advanced technology, and political manipulation. As a normal human, Luthor weaponizes kryptonite, designs high-tech battle armor, and creates complex psychological traps to challenge the man of steel. Does any of this sound familiar? Well, it should. You know, they always say that art imitates life. Well, in this case, that perspective is accurate. In the real world, who is the white man obsessed with? He's obsessed with the black man, right? Deep down, he envies the black man because of the black man's natural talent that they have. Natural superpowers like being faster than a speeding bullet, leaping tall buildings in a single bound. All of that is a black man. And what they really hate is their women are drawn to black men. So when it comes to Superman, the only weapon that Lex Luthor has against Superman, the main weapon is kryptonite. Now, Lex Luthor, he threw everything at Superman. And no matter what he threw at Superman, he couldn't destroy him. Superman would always prevail and thrive. Sound familiar?
We're like,
Salaki, let me add where he said that about their women being drawn to our men. Yeah, that is the case. Our women are drawn to our men because we are the top people in the earth. And just like they're drawn to our men, There are also that males are drawn to our women, and so on and so forth. But it is the unrighteousness to deal with these other nations. So um, keep your marriage with your own people, and don't interact with other people when it comes to real relationships, because their job is to destroy you, and they will do everything that they can to destroy you. And even though you think that they would be for your good, they will not. You know what? I told y'all we was gonna do some teaching up in here, and we're gonna jump to that right here, right now, because I don't want to just be telling you something and you just take it as face value. Oh, Hazaki Yahoo just talking some stuff right here today. We're gonna teach the Bible here. All right, let's understand exactly where I'm coming from. Uh, right here, I want you to understand something. Let's start from verse 1. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, starting at verse 1. It says, when Yahuwah your power shall bring you into the land, whether you go to possess it, and cast out many nations before you, the Hittites, the Gergesites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. Verse 2, and when Yahuwah your power have delivered them before you, and you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Now let me explain something to you. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Let me finish this out. Your daughter shall you not give to his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son. Understand something. When I was very young in this truth, when I first started in, I had an elder, and my elder taught us very specifically. The law serves two functions. There's the letter of the law, that is what the law says, and there is the spirit of the law, that is what the law is meant to accomplish. Now, in these 3 verses that we have just read, right here and now, if you read this at face value, it is speaking about these 7 nations: the Hittites, the Gergesites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, or the Hivites, the Jebusites, and those particular nations. All right. Those are 7 nations that the Most High ordered us not to make a covenant with, not to intermarry with, not to give our daughters to their sons, not to make relationships with these people. In fact, to destroy them and not show them mercy. All right. It seems very specific, but again, there's a second component. There is a spirit of the law. What is the law? What is this law meant to accomplish? So, verse 3, neither shall you make marriages with them. So, you don't make marriages with them. Your daughter shall you not give to his son, nor his daughter shall you take to your son. So, you don't make marriages with these people. For they will, let's see the spirit of the law. Let's see why that's the case. For they will turn away your son from following me, that you may serve other deities, so that the anger of Yahuwah be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. So the spirit of the law is to keep you from turning your heart away from the Most High, because you dealing with these other nations, they're going to have you turn your heart away from the Most High and serving you. You get this woman in your bed, and you turn and serve her and her deities and her family. Now you poured into her circumstances, her situation. Same thing with you women. You poured into this man's way of doing things. And that's going to pull you into a place where the Most High is ready to destroy you suddenly. So it's the spirit of the law to not do these things uh, for our good. All right, let's get back to the video. I bet y'all didn't know we was going that deep in this joke of the day, but watch what happens. Let's continue.
Used to talking about, we know that like black people are better at sports, and black people are better at basketball and football. It's kind of a joke, but I would say that it's not that simple. We're excellent at everything. Basketball is just the only thing they couldn't stop us from doing by just keeping us out of schools, keeping us out of neighborhoods, keeping us out of hospitals. They couldn't legislate it away from us. You can take a ball and hoop anywhere. You can express yourself and sing a song anywhere. That's why we dominate the arts, because they couldn't police the arts and keep us away from it.
There you
go. We get one generation of access, and we're the CEO of Amex, or we're running a country. You don't know people play tennis, and then two girls decide to play tennis, and they're the best that have ever touched a racket. Don't nobody play golf. Black people don't play no golf. And then one guy was like, you know what? Let me try this. Best that has ever touched on the planet. So it's just access.
Here it comes. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
No matter.
See, that's the thing about our people. You know, despite all the insurmountable odds, despite the ideas that we have been reduced to nothing, that we were ever nothing, it wasn't us that was refuted as nothing. It was them. They the ones that was called nothing. In the scriptures, we're going to get deeper into that, but I'm going to try not to make this a forever lesson. But we're going to cover everything up in here today. So, yeah, let's get to it.
No matter what the white man threw at us, segregation, Jim Crow, burning down successful black towns, all of this was designed to destroy us, but we're still here.
Still here. We still thriving. And it's not because we just somehow figure it out. It's because the Most High, he said in his word that all the places wherein we would be scattered, that he would be a little sanctuary unto us. He would be a little bit of reprieve unto us. Even though they tried their best, they tried their very best with systems of evil to take away the Most High from us, to give us a blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil that we called Jesus. And that devil, that white JC character, that we would put that in our hearts and put that in our minds, put that on the walls of our houses and carry it around with us as if it is something to behold. That devil was never our Savior. That devil was never for us. He never did anything for us, not in human form, not in any other form. He didn't come to this earth and die for us. They took away our own Savior, our own righteousness, and they gave us an image of them so that we'll look at them as if they are something when they are actually nothing. And despite all of that, despite all the systematic racism that is built into this entire existence, despite all these elaborate constructions that they've come up with to oppress us, to keep us held down, the redlining, the destroying of everything that we built, the lies, the religion. There was a post circulating on Facebook in the last couple of weeks. It says, why do black people have mega churches, but we don't have any mega banks or mega schools? Because it's a systemic division that has been put together against us to cause us to systemically give over tithe money every week when the scriptures say nothing about tithing being money, when the scriptures do not teach us that to give 10% of our income to a church that was meant for the Levites to feed the people in the nation, among our people. We're giving 10% of our income into an entity known as the church. The church gives that money to the government. They paying the municipalities, the light bill, the water bill. Yeah, you want a structure, whatever. Do you need that? Do you need that? Because Hebrew Israelites, we're not doing that. What we doing? A lot of us meeting at houses. We meeting at parks. We meeting at libraries. Guess how much a library charge? It's free. Guess what? We online. We're meeting on platforms just like this. And the Most High puts you in a position to have a platform like this. All praises to the Abba, to the Most High Power, the Father of Israel. Let's continue here.
And we still thrive.
You have to go see the slave castles. Every black person living should go to Ghana and see them slave castles so you can see what they did to us. You got to see what they did to us. You got to see how they built these dungeons underground and they put these churches on top and they dug holes in the ground to pump the music or what they call their Christianity into the holes. While, man, they did, let me explain something, y'all. They walk them as far as they can first to make them lose weight. They put them in a room, then they cut a door, and after you've been in this room in 2 weeks, they walk you through this door. If you lose the right amount of weight, you fit through the door. If you don't fit through the door, you got to stay in this room right here. Then you're in this room for another week, they make you lose some more weight. Then you fit through another door. If you can't fit through the door, you ain't lost enough weight. You got to go through 4 doors like that before you go through the door of no return. And they steady sitting up there talking about Jesus. Jesus. Me and my wife, we wouldn't even go in their church. Not going in this hell-bound church. You sitting up here talking about Jesus, and you'd have done this to us under this ground like this? Hey, man, let me explain something to y'all. What was done to us is unthinkable. For us to be sitting here alive and thriving is a testament to the greatness of us as a people.
It's actually a testament to the greatness of the Most High, our power, who have protected us even in the midst of our destruction, even in the midst of our punishment. What happened to our people, what we have endured through these years has been unimaginable. Steve Harvey said unthinkable, unimaginable. And guess what? No other people in the earth could have endured what we've endured, because no other people in the earth would have had the Most High, our power, with them. So they would have all died. They would have been extinct off of the planet. But we're still here. How is it that we're still here? Because our power is amazing. And nobody else has that testimony. He had to put us through such a magnificent, horrific incident. The worst thing to ever happen to any people in the history of mankind. And yet, we're still here. Think about that. Think about that. The only other most horrific incident that happened would have been the flood. The great flood that flooded the whole earth. Only 8 people survived that flood. And from those 8 people, we all come. But guess what? All of the other people died. Everybody else was dead. They did not survive. Only the people who were on that ark survived. And we made it to this side of the flood. On the previous side of the flood, the earth was filled with violence, all manner of wickedness, all over the earth. Let's get that. Let's get that in the text. Let's get that in the text. Bereshit, chapter 6. Starting at verse 1 here. It says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all they which they chose. Now, I know you probably heard or thought that this was the Malachim, the angels, seeing these daughters of men, these human daughters, and deciding that they were going to go and deal with them. That is not the case. Because here's the reality, and I want you to hear me when I say this. 30 minutes and 20 some odd seconds into this video. If this was Malachim or angels taking women and making them wives, guess what? Man would be extinct, because there will only be Malachim for women. A Malach or angel is not a man. He does not function as a man. He's greater than we are. Malachim are greater than we are. So if they took the daughters of men and made babies with them, a woman would never desire a man ever. She would only deal with a Malachim. You understand? Because it would be too much of a downgrade to deal with a man. It would be too weak to deal with a man if she were ever to deal with a Malachim. And Malachim are made above men. They don't desire daughters of your people, of our people. All right? So this is not talking about Malachim and men. This is talking about righteous and wicked. The daughters of the sons of the Most High are the righteous sons. This is the line of Seth. The daughters of men, these are the wicked. These are the children of Cain. So you get to intermixing righteousness and wickedness. Guess what happens? Wickedness prevails. And Yahuwah said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh, therefore his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and afterwards, when the sons of the Most High came into the daughters of men, and they bore them children, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So these men became to be mighty men, because you got a righteous son and you got a wicked daughter bearing children in the earth. Guess what's prevailing? Wickedness. That's what it's teaching us here. Verse 5. And the Most High saw that look at what he saw, that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. What happened? The righteous sons of the Most High, those who followed the Most High and operated as he would have them operated, they went into these wicked women, and guess what? The Most High saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually. He was only dealing with evil, because you took a righteous seed and you mixed it with a wicked woman. And what you got was increased wickedness in the earth. And it repented Yahuwah that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. So he was distraught. He was hurt that he had made man because of the wickedness that these men had portrayed. All right? That's in chapter 6. Let's go back one chapter. Let's go to chapter 5. These are the books of the generation of Adam. Let me show you something. These are the show the generations here. That's not what I'm looking for. Slacky, that wasn't what I was looking for. 1 second. I can't remember where it is off the top. Might be chapter 4. Hold on 1 second. All right, half a second here. I'm almost. No. Okay. Okay, I can't find what I'm looking for. Salakia, give me one more. Oh, I was right at it. Salakia. I was right at it. It was chapter 6. I just didn't read down far enough. All right, this is what I was looking for. After the announcement of the children, those that will go on to the ark, chapter 6, the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. So this is an indication that the wicked prevail. When you see the earth filled with violence, what do you see today? What is in existence right here today? The earth is filled with violence. So this is an indication, a very obvious indication that we're in a time where the earth is going to be destroyed, where wickedness is going to have to be purged, because the earth is again filling with violence. It's not at its peak. It's not at the breaking point, at the tipping point just yet, but it's on its way. So again, this is a testimony not to how great of a people we are. We are a great people because the Most High made us that way. But this is a testimony to how great the Most High is, who have kept us in these situations and these circumstances that nobody else could have gone through. But let's continue.
We some bad people sitting in here. Cause I'm telling you right now, it would have cracked and broke anybody else. Nobody could have withstood what we withstood and still be standing.
Right, because nobody else had the Most High our power.
You see, in the real world, their most powerful weapon has always been racism, white supremacy, systemic racism. Now, there was this great black writer, this great black author by the name of Toni Morrison. She did this unforgettable interview, and she asked a profound question. She asked the white man that was interviewing her, where would you guys be without racism?
Arthur Ashe was here, the late Arthur Ashe,
yes.
and he said to me, as he had said at one other place, he said, in a much quoted comment, he said, living with AIDS is easier than living with racism. It's a harder struggle against racism for me than it is against AIDS. What it meant to me is that there's no way for the rest of us to understand that daily encounter. Which brings me to my question to you. Do you still have that encounter? Do you, Toni Morrison, Pulitzer Prize winner, successful, honored in the halls of academe, etc., still have that encounter?
Yes, I do, Charlie, but let me tell you, that's the wrong question.
Okay, what's the right question?
How do you feel? Not you, Charlie Rose,
Right.
but don't you understand that the people who do this thing, who practice racism,
Right.
are bereft? There is something distorted about the psyche. It's a huge waste, and it's a corruption and a distortion. It's a profound neurosis that nobody examines for what it is. It feels crazy. It is crazy. And it has just as much of a deleterious effect on white people and possibly equal as it does black people. I always knew that I had the moral high ground all my life. I always thought those people who said I couldn't come in the drugstore and I had to sit in this funny place, I couldn't
You
go
felt
in the
morally
park.
superior to them
I
from day
did.
one.
And I thought they knew that I knew that they were inferior to me
Right.
morally. I always thought that. And my parents always thought that.
You said your father was racist because he always felt like he was superior.
That's right. He always felt superior. And that was a form, of defensive racism.
Yeah. So what she's saying here, and if you caught it or didn't catch it, what she's saying is when you are racist, we suffer horrendous oppression under these other people, these other nations. Now here in America, it is unreasonable. It is horrendous. These people are so oppressive, they oppress their own people. They do wickedness to their own people. The Torah disallows us to be evil one to another. They have no such code. Now, their general makeup allows them to be decently and wholesome to each other, usually, but there are various instances. I just watched a video earlier of a guy on a motorcycle that they thought was nothing. He was Caucasian. It was all Caucasians. And they choked this dude to death and then hid it and buried it. And guess what? Nobody was held accountable for choking a guy on a motorcycle. One minute, the guy is riding his motorcycle, minding his business, not doing anything wrong. Next minute, after a traffic violation, they take this guy and choke him to death. 3 county deputies choked this guy to death, hid his findings, and what ended up happening, the way the information came out, the body cam came out, was that the media sued for the release of the body cam footage. And so they had to release it. But the statement of the chief of the sheriff did not match the body cam footage. In fact, he blamed the guy, and he was the same as them. Torah doesn't allow me to deal negatively with my own people. Torah doesn't allow me to choke a brother to death. If I choke a brother to death, I got to get choked to death. That's what Torah does to us. But they have no such. They have no government as far as that goes. They will conceal and cover themselves and try to hide all they are. And you can't hide it. See, we can't hide from the Most High, our power. See, I cannot do evil in the dark and expect the Most High not to punish me. I know that if I do evil, the Most High will deal with me, and he'll deal harshly with me. If I choose to walk in evil and walk in darkness, the Most High will punish me horrendously, horribly, and it won't be nice. It won't be a easy going, like a slap on the wrist. Well, I'm just gonna make this. No. Look at what happened with King David. King David made one mistake. He saw a woman completely uncovered, bathing, and she was so fair that he decided he had to have her, and he took her, and he lay with her, and he impregnated her. And even though King David was a man after the Most High's own heart, the Most High put an unthinkable punishment on to David's whole household. He said, the sword will not depart from your house forever. The sword will not depart from your house. That means you will forever have violence and war and all of these battles, that this will be your future based on this one act that you committed. So Torah doesn't allow us to walk in wickedness, to walk in evil. Every time we've done evil, we've been horrendously punished. I mentioned earlier, captivity after captivity after captivity. We don't go unpunished. We go heavily punished. The Most High gets his back because the kingdom is coming. And when the kingdom comes, the kingdom is ours, because we pay on this side. But don't get me wrong, if you wicked and evil, you're going to pay on this side and the next side. But let's continue the video.
But if the racist white person, I don't mean the person who is examining his consciousness and so on, doesn't understand that he or she is also a race, it's also constructed. It's also made, and it also has some kind of serviceability. But when you take it away, I take your race away. And there you are, all strung out, and all you got is your little self. And what is that? What are you without racism? Are you any good? Are you still strong? You still smart? You still like yourself? If you can only be tall because somebody's on their knees, then you have a serious problem.
She used the analogy, if you can only be tall because other people are on their knees, then you are not tall at all. You are hindered. So this is a horrible circumstance to be in. And this is effectively what racism is. Racism puts someone who's weak and inferior at a height, a place higher than someone who's actually superior. I'm gonna put you under me because I'm gonna make it appear that I'm better than you, but in reality, you're not better. You're worse. You're less than. And the only reason that this is working for you is because of this system that you have constructed for your benefit. But when this system is taken away, what are you going to be then? What are you without this system of racist tactics and government and all of these political debauchery that you have instituted? What are you going to be without that? I'll tell you what you're going to be. You're going to be a servant. That's what you have to look forward to. Servitude.
And my feeling is white people have a very, very serious problem. And they should start thinking about what they can do about it. Take me out of it.
Then give white people some free advice.
They're all in my books.
You know, and it's funny because I've been saying here, as the uptick of wickedness continues in this earth, uh, we've been seeing horrible things, especially in the South, uh, horrible police encounters, horrible lynchings, lynching young people all over. Young lady was found lynched in the behind of an abandoned house, and they won't call it a lynching. Hazaki Yahu gonna call it a lynching because it's a lynching. It's evil and it's wicked, and you're gonna pay dearly for that evil. You're not gonna get away. You're gonna pay a horrendous price. Whoever put their hands to this young woman for evil, you're gonna pay a horrendous price for all of your evils. All of you. I've said previously, and I'm saying here right now, live on the air, you would think that people who have done such wickedness would be grieved in their heart at the wickedness that has happened, that they have portrayed upon this earth. You would think that they would move to try to do what is right in hopes that somehow, some way, that they can be resolved. That if it were possible to get any kind of resolve, let it be because I'm going to move to doing what is good. But no, they don't think like that. They continue in their wickedness. In fact, they amplify their own wickedness. And your wickedness is your weakness. Because all the evil that you do is it's like you're on an airplane and the airplane is going down. Rather than try to figure out how to get the plane coming up again, or at least level in the sky, you're pushing the plane further and further down to a place where this plane is going to be vertical with the ground. Instead of being horizontal with the ground, it's getting vertical with the ground. And rather than try to pull the plane up, you're steady keeping the plane horizontal or vertical, headed straight into the ground. And when it hits the ground, it's inevitable. You can't stop it. So you would think you would try to your best to pull it up, but you can't pull it up. You're not going to pull it up. You're just going to keep it going down. So let's finish this out.
You know, I can answer that question by just sharing my own personal experience. I live in Thailand. I've been living in Thailand for 8 years. For those of you guys who are new subscribers and don't know, I came here 8 years ago for like an 8-day vacation, and that turned into 8 years. The longer I stayed here, the more I despise America. The way they treat me here, I thought it was something that I would never experience in my whole life. But one of the most important things living here is you get to see how white people live without white supremacy backing them up, without systemic racism backing them up. It's amazing because we're actually on an even playing field out here. The Thai people, they look at us all as foreigners. No.
All right. So I understand what Dante is portraying here, and but he just contradicted himself. You cannot be. It's not an equal playing field if you're looked at as a foreigner. All right. You're a foreigner. The Caucasians are foreigners. So the people that's ruling that place are the Thai people. So being in Thailand is just because they're not putting their hand around your neck doesn't mean that things are better for you. You're still hindered. You just may not be hunted, but a day will come when they'll be hunting there as well. They'll be hunting there. All it's going to take is whatever needs to come to pass. But don't think that Thailand is going to be your salvation, because it's not. It's not. You get too many so-called Negroes over there, and things will start changing.
No matter what your color is, they judge you by your character here, not by your skin tone. They don't have the power of white supremacy here. And you know, every time I talk about this, there's always one or two people in the comment section. There's always one or two people in the comment section saying, oh, white supremacy is everywhere. Listen, let me say this. You're either saying this because you don't know what white supremacy is, or you're saying this because you haven't been to Thailand, or you probably have never even been out of the country before. You guys have to understand what white supremacy is. White supremacy is systemic. You see, when white people come over here to Thailand, they don't have a system that protects them. So they can't just come over here committing crimes and expect to be protected by the DA, the police, the judge, the governor, the mayor. No, they ain't got none of that here. Once you commit a crime, you're treated like everybody else. And the white people here, they will tell you this. Because when it comes to America alone, all the crime that's committed in Thailand is by white boys, straight from America. Because I be watching the news stories, and they come out here with that entitlement, committing all kind of crimes, going straight to jail or getting kicked out of the country. But you don't ever see black Americans in the news. You don't ever see them committing crimes, because we know how to act. And we have learned from a very young age that you already have to be 2 to 3 times better at anything just to get credit, or half the credit, or whatever the case may be. So we take that mindset with us everywhere we go. We know that when we come here to Thailand, if one black person does something, then it makes the whole race look bad. So we're on our best behavior. We know that no matter how long we live here, we are always visitors, right? But white people, they don't come here with that mindset. They come over here with a colonizer mindset, feeling like they are entitled. They come over here looking down at Thai people, like, no, you're not white, so you're not on my level. But once again, the white supremacy doesn't work here, because they don't have a system backing them, protecting them. And without that white supremacy, without that systemic racism, they're just another foreigner being treated like all the other foreigners. They can't come over here and become police officers, harassing people of color, killing people of color. Now, don't get me wrong. The only racist people in Thailand, at least for the most part, are white people. But individual racism, especially in a foreign country, has no power. They may be able to infect the girls that they date with that racist ideology, but they can't indoctrinate the whole country. Hell, they can't even indoctrinate the whole city that they live in. They're completely naked with no shield, no protection. So with that being said, man, I'm going to wrap this video.
All right. So, I understand holistically what Deontay is sharing with us in that aspect. But I'm telling you, so-called black men, women, you who live here, you who live abroad, you who live wherever you live, whatever land you're in, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in Kebulon, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Asia, wherever you are, wherever you go, these curses are going to follow you. You are not going to escape the curses of the Most High, our power. It's not going to happen. You are not going to be able to get away from the curses of the Most High, because the Most High need you and I to understand that we cannot put anything before him. And if you put anything before him, we will pay severely. That is the covenant that we have made. And there is no getting out of that covenant. Once the blood was sprinkled on us, that was it. It was over. All right, let's move on to the next video. And this video comes to us from Black Journals. Now, this is a very interesting video that we're going to get in depth with. So this may be very long. This is Black Journals, the Bible versus Quran. How these texts define black identity, what they don't teach you. Now, I'm going to preface this by explaining the misinformation that exists in Christianity. All right? That's where the issue really comes from. The misinformation that exists in Christianity. There's misinformation in Christianity. There's misinformation in Islam. There's misinformation everywhere. And that's where these issues are coming from. All right, here we go.
For centuries, the fate of black people has been judged, argued over, and contested through sacred texts. The Bible and the Quran have both spoken about humanity, but the way they have been interpreted and used when it comes to black people has led to radically different realities. One was often twisted to justify oppression, and the other delivered a direct message that rejected racial hierarchy from the start. In this video, we break down how the Bible and the Quran actually describe black people by going into what is written and how those words were used over time. Some of it you may recognize, but much of it has been overlooked or misunderstood. By the end, you'll see just how deep the difference goes. Before we get into it, discussions like this one are becoming harder to keep visible on this platform.
You know what's good? Being such a small YouTube channel, I don't have any problems because I'm small as I don't know what. But if this thing were to bloom, like Black Journals has bloomed, like DontaesBoxingNation has bloomed, and some of these other channels, then I will be very limited. I can say whatever I want to say on here. And I may get a chastening from YouTube, but they won't bother me much because who's going to complain? Very few people are seeing this. I have a very small core, but that's okay because I'm still getting this information out.
If you want to stay connected and keep up with content we cannot always post here, join our WhatsApp community. The link is in the comments. Now let's begin.
Yeah, I have WhatsApp as well. Black Journals, I'm a part of their WhatsApp, but my WhatsApp is, or the AOI WhatsApp is Hate the Evil. You find Hate the Evil in WhatsApp, that's Hazaki Yahoo AOI, all right?
The Bible is a collection of writings put together over centuries,
Right.
but even before you open it, there's something important you need to understand. For generations, the Bible has been weaponized by those in power.
Yes.
For centuries, many Christian leaders taught that black people were destined to be servants and that their suffering was justified through scripture.
Okay, so that is unequivocally correct. Yes, that is absolutely right. It has been used through that way, but you have to understand what you're dealing with. We're going to get to that just momentarily.
They pointed to the story of Noah and his sons in Genesis chapter 9, especially Genesis chapter 9, verse 25, which says, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren," and claimed that this curse applied to all African people, even though the text itself never mentions skin color or extends the curse beyond Canaan.
Right. So this curse is for Canaan. Now, earlier I showed you Deuteronomy chapter 7 and these 7 nations that you cannot marry. These 7 nations were the nations that came from Canaan. These are the nations that we should not deal with. Why? Because this is a cursed people. That is 100% equivocally correct. However, yes, the Europeans did take that and extend that to all so-called black people, and they said that we were the children of Ham, and this curse has often been referred to as the curse of Ham, or the accursed children of Ham. We are not the children of Ham. We are the children of Shem. Shem is the father of the nation of Israel, not Ham. Ham is a completely separate people. Shemitic people, or the Shemite people, from Shem. Okay, let's go through the genealogy equivalent completely. Here we go. All right, so here we have Bereshit, chapter 10. This is the table of nations. All right, I'm not going to read through all of this, but I am going to show you the gist. Verse 1, it says, "Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. And unto them were sons born after the flood." So these are the people who repopulated the earth after the flood. So you have that side of the flood, and then you have this side of the flood. We are on this side of the flood. Verse 2 takes us into Japhet, and so on and so forth through Japhet. Verse 6 picks up with the sons of Ham, Ham's sons, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. These are the 4 sons of Ham. You come on down, it gives you a little bit of the history as it pertains to what happened after that time. And guess what? Guess where else you can find this information? You can't. Doesn't exist anywhere else. All right. Verse 20 concludes the sons of Ham, their family, their tongues, their countries, and their nations. Verse 21 shows us Shem, also the father of the children of Eber. Who is Eber? Eber was a righteous man who would become uh, who the righteous line would fall through. So from Noah, righteousness, you follow Shem. From Shem, you follow Eber. From Eber, you follow all the way down to Abram. And if you follow this, if you read this from Eber here, it gives you all the particulars. So this is telling you on this side, when you get to chapter 11, I'm just kind of synopsisizing this, giving you a quick summary. All right. When you jump to chapter 11, the whole earth was on one language and everybody spake the same thing. So we continue down, and right here at verse 10 is where it picks up. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and he begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Shem begot Arphaxad 500 years, and he begot sons and daughters. All right? So you go from Shem to Arphaxad to Selah to Eber. Eber had 2 sons. Peleg was the son that meant something. Ru was that next son. Shrug, Nahor, Terah, and there we get Abram and his wife. All right? So this is the story. This is moving us into the history of the children of Israel. It began with the earth was void and had no, there was nothing there, and that he brought forth that which was from nothing. All right? He made it from that which was nothing. Now, let's go back to the video.
Over time, this idea became deeply rooted in religious teaching and public belief. In the American South, enslavers built entire sermons around it, combining it with New Testament passages such as Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5, which states, "Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ."
All right. So that again, yes, that is say that. It is written that way in there. But when you have some understanding, what that is truly conveying is do your work to your employer as you would to the Messiah. And it also, what they never said, it also talks about sharing graciously with those who work for you because you would be nothing without their work. You would have nothing without their work. Taking you back to Father Abraham. Father Abraham, before Isaac came along, his inheritance or his heir was his longest running servant. That was going to be his heir because he had no seed. So his vast wealth would have been left to his servant if he would have died without Isaac. His vast wealth would have been left to his servant. So what does that tell you about how men operated, how righteous men operated in those days, in that time? That should tell you a lot. When a man is rich, I don't know what. Abraham was so rich. I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'll say it forever. Abraham was so rich that his money would have lasted us. We would be spending his money as a people right here today. That's how rich Abraham was. We would still be spending Abraham money to this day. If things had not been taken away, if we had not been robbed and spoiled, and all of these horrible things would have happened to us, we would still be spending Abraham's money today. Fast forward to King Solomon, probably just as rich as Father Abraham was, if not, if they were close. If they weren't neck and neck, they were very close. But we would have had a lot. Now, King Solomon didn't get his riches from good things. He got his riches from some other stuff. But that's a different lesson. But let's continue.
To present a system that seems sanctioned by God. Week after week, the Bible was used to defend chains and control. Black listeners, often pushed to the margins of the church, were told their oppression was holy and unavoidable. In those moments, scripture became a tool of power used against the very people it would later inspire. However, when you actually examine the Bible itself, you'll notice that it does not shy away from mentioning African people or those with dark skin.
Right. Well, here's the thing. And because we've been lied to so extensively that we only count ourselves among those children of Ham. I'm gonna tell you something. When you're reading in Bereshith and Genesis and Exodus and Numbers and Leviticus and Deuteronomy, guess what? You're not reading about Caucasians. You're not reading about European so-called Jews. You're reading about Hebrew Israelites. This is a story. This is the history of the Hebrew Israelite people, written by us, for us, in this time, inspired by the Most High, our power, who told us to write these things. Who told us to write these things? Let's get a script on that. Let's get some scripture on that. You know, like I said, I just wanted to teach the Bible today. I just felt like teaching the Bible today. Praises to the Abba. I done hit Ecclesiasticus. I wanted First Maccabees. We're going to zoom through this. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on this, but we're going to zoom through this. What I want you to understand is exactly what we're dealing with here. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, "And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, and reigned in his stead, the first over Greece." So what are we looking at here? What is this actually showing us here? What this is showing us is very simple and easy to understand. There was a man, a historical figure, by the name of Alexander. All right. He's known worldwide as a conqueror. Yes, he conquered a lot of spaces. He did a lot of wickedness in the earth, and he was a very wicked man. They call him Alexander the Great, but he's not the Great. He's a Greek. That's all he was. But he was a great conqueror. I'll give him that. It is what it is, and he was set up to do those things. He made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. All right, and he went from the end to the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and lifted up, and his heart was lifted up. So this man went and conquered. He took whatever he wanted from whoever he wanted. So much, he did so much that his competition was zero. Nobody opposed him. He had no one to oppose him because he overthrew everybody else. That's what this is explaining to us. So much so that guess what? He became so prideful that it killed him. Verse 4, "And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributary unto him." So he had everything that a wicked heathen could desire. But look what happens. After these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. So he did all of this evil in the earth, and then guess what? He got sick. And it was just a matter of time. He wasn't going to recover. He was going to be dead because the Most High had had enough of this wicked heathen. And his demise was at hand. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he yet lived. So while he was alive, he then began to part his kingdom among these people. Now, like I said, we weren't going to read this whole thing, but I wanted you to understand. We know who Alexander the Greek was. He was a Greek conqueror, a Caucasian man in today's standards. All right? This man did great evils in the earth, and he divided his kingdom among his soldiers, his generals, and they all had a portion. And then they began to fight amongst each other to see who could have the greatest portion after he was dead. And they increased evil in the earth and did so much more evil that evil was just ridiculous through the earth in those times. But here's where it gets important. They fought over Egypt, and after they won Egypt, guess what happened? Verse 20. It says, "And after Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 41st year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude." So now they've taken Mizraim. And don't get me wrong, Mizraim was a part of the dividing of Alexander's kingdom. So this general got Mizraim. This general got this Antiochus. He got a particular portion, and he wanted Mizraim. So he went and smitten his general buddy that they were part of Alexander's crew, and he went against his own boy and took his portion. And then he came to Jerusalem. He came to Israel and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the menorah of light and the vessels thereof, and the table of shewbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the golden censers and the veils and the crowns and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, and he pulled, and all which he pulled off. So he went and took down everything, treated Israel like they would treat anything else. You take this Kodesh place that the Most High have called his own, and you come in here proudly and do this wicked stuff to this land, to this righteous land that the Most High uses for his own desire. And he took the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasure. What is this hidden treasure that he took? What is this hidden treasure that he took? Let's see what it is. I could never remember that verse. What is that hidden treasure that he took? Verse 56. It says, and when they had rent in pieces the books of HaTorah, which they found, they burned them with fire. So the hidden treasure, the thing that we hid, that we kept so close to us, that we hid it from ever there's anyone to come in here to try to take over, was the Torah. It was the Torah. And they found it, and they rent it, they destroyed it, tore it in pieces, and then they burned it with fire. They took the Torah, rent it in pieces, and then they burned it with fire. This was a horrible and wicked people who did so much evil, and they continue to do evil, horrible evils in the earth, until the return of Hamashiach and the destruction of these wicked people. So these scriptures, all of these writings, even though they were destroyed, guess what? You had Hebrew Israelite brothers who were copying these various books. There was no printing press in Israel. If you had a book, it was written by someone's hand. If not your hand, then your neighbor's hand. But that's how you got it. All right. So, and the Hebrew Israelites, then and today, were dark-skinned people, or people of color, so-called black people. I don't like that people of color term, but they certainly were not Europeans. You know, when they fled, when we fled from Jerusalem in 70 AD, we fled into Kebulon. You know, the order that came from Spain or Portugal was specifically against the children of Israel, and they were notated as being black, swarthy, Negro in color. Not colored, Negro. Let's continue.
Black Africans appear throughout both the Old and New Testaments as part of the story itself. One of the clearest examples comes from the life of Moses. In Numbers chapter 12, verse 1, it says, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. Their reaction reflects a form of prejudice. But what happens next in the text is even more telling. In Numbers chapter 12, verse 10, it states, "And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow." After speaking against Moses, Miriam is immediately punished by God. It is interesting because the one who speaks against the black woman is the one who is struck.
Miriam was also a black woman. She was a daughter of Levi. Levi is a black man, is a black tribe. And so she was black too. So this depiction that they're using here to illustrate this is false because it's being depicted as if she's European. She's not European. Europeans did not dwell in this land. Europeans came afterward when you're dealing with what we just read, the Greeks coming down, the Romans to follow, and these were our interactions with these European people, not not the Israelites. The Israelites were not European. The Israelites were Hebrew Israelites. That is the opposite of European.
Clearly, this is proof that the Bible does not endorse discrimination based on skin color.
And to further solidify that point, if Miriam, who was a dark-skinned sister, if she would have been European, as in Caucasian, turning her leprous would have been of no effect because she would have already been leprous. She would have already been absent of melanin, which means without her melanin to absorb the sun, she would have been in a horrible situation because they were in a very sun-rich place. Where if you go to Europe, Europe is not a very sun-rich place. Europe is a very lack of sun place, which is why Caucasians thrive there. But you come here, and in various places, the sun, it thrives everywhere, but in some places it's greater than other places. In Arcabulon, the sun is greater than it is here, than it is there. You get down south, the sun is greater. I'm in Indiana. The sun is greater down south than it is here. The heat is profound down south than it is up here where I'm at. It's saying 86 degrees right now where I am, but in Little Rock where I'm from, it's in the 90s. So great, big difference.
It confronts it and punishes it. The acknowledgement of black identity continues in the poetic passages of Scripture. In Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5, the original Hebrew expresses the line as, "I am black and beautiful, O daughters of Jerusalem," presenting blackness and beauty together without contrast or apology. However, this verse did not remain untouched. In later English translations, such as the King James Version, it was altered to read, "I am black, but beautiful," a contrast that changes the meaning entirely, as if beauty must be defended against blackness.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I do feel like that was definitely tempered with, and not as it should have been. Who would say I'm black but I'm beautiful? I'm black but I'm beautiful. That's not a compliment. Certainly not a compliment one would give to themselves. But let's go to that script here that he's mentioning. All right, Song of Solomon. I have the full breakdown here. I wish there was a way that I could print all of this so I could have it for good, but it would be astronomical to print. Not undoable, but it would be astronomical because this thing is so filled with so much information. Slakia. Okay. All right. Let me break this bigger. All right, I think that's good. And here we get. Here it is. The Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. You see it in English. I am black, but lovely. All right. And the reality so what you see here is wa. Wa. All right. Wa means and. Not but and. All right. Even in, I believe this is Greek, you see and there. All right. So obviously it's not or, but it is and, not just not or. I'm black, but or not or, but I'm black, but I'm comely, but I'm beautiful. No, it's black and beautiful. So that is the proper terminology. All right. But if you look at this through the European setup that they instituted, then yeah, you'll see it as negative. But when you understand that this woman was a daughter of Zion, that this what she was speaking about the king of Israel, King Solomon, King Shlomo. He was not a European, neither was she. These were Hebrew Israelites. And the Hebrew Israelites today, the Hebrew Israelites then and today, we're the same people. You see us out here, we're the same people. Hebrew as the sons of Eber, and Israel as the sons of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. We are those people. All right?
Note that the original scripture itself affirms black identity with clarity and dignity. The distortion just makes it clear that the issue was never the Bible's original text, but how it was interpreted.
Right.
Still, even at the height of biblical distortion, another interpretation was present. Abolitionist Christians challenged the misuse of scripture, pointing to Genesis chapter 9, verses 25 to 27, and explaining that the curse was directed at Canaan, not Ham, and had nothing to do with Africans.
Right. It had nothing to do with Africans, but we're not Africans. We're not Hamites. We don't come from Ham. We're certainly not Canaanites. We are Shemitic, Ibrahim Israelites. All right. And what did I just say? We are Shemitic, as in descendants of Shem, as in descendants of Eber, as in descendants of Israel. So remember to follow the line from Noah to Shem, from Shem to Eber, from Eber to Abram. That is the righteous line that, and then once you get to Abram, Isaac, Jacob, that's the Kodesh line. And then his 12 sons. And once you get to those 12 sons, everything from there is the righteous line. You're going to have some righteous, you're going to have some wicked. And those wicked are going to be dealt with. Those righteous are going to be moved forward. But these are all who you would call today Negroes. These aren't Cushites. These aren't Mizrites. These aren't Ethiopians, these are Israelites, righteous. The righteous lines comes through the Israelites. All right, continuing.
They emphasize that all
That is a fake depiction of anybody. Those are not Israelites. Those are heathens that you see on the screen that he put into this depiction. He's depicting heathens. Those are not Israelites.
people are made in the image of God, as stated in Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 to 27, which says, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness," and that this applied to all humanity.
All right, I'll do you one better. Let's go to. Told you we was gonna teach the Bible here today. Let's do one better than that. Let's go to Better Sheet chapter 9. And let's see. This is the information that was given to them when they got off of the ark. This is the instructions. Let's start at verse 1. It says, "And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast upon the earth, every fowl of the air, and all that move upon the earth, and the fishes of the sea. In your hands are they delivered. Every moving thing shall be meat for you. As the green herb have I given you all things. But the flesh thereof, which is the life thereof, you shall not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man." What will cause him to require the life of man? Verse 6. "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of the Most High made he man." So what he's saying, or what is being stated here, is very accurate. However, you have to understand it in the proper context, because the message of the scripture was not general for mankind. The message of the scripture was general for the Israelites. All right, this was an important portion for the Israelites. So here we go.
It is a message reinforced throughout Scripture in passages like Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, which declares, "There is neither Jew nor Greek."
Okay, people love to go to this particular passage. There's neither Jew nor Greek. Here is the question that you are, this tells you that you're looking at this surface level. If there's neither Jew nor Greek, why is it Greek? These are two very specific people. Jews, the term Jew comes from the word Judah, which in Hebrew, the true Hebrew would be Yehuda or Yahwadah. All right? So that's a very specific group of people that depicts the southern kingdom of Israel. There's neither Yahudim or Yahwadah. And then you comparing that to a Greek. Okay, and a Greek is another small segment of people. These are people from Greece, people who are affiliated with the Grecians. So why would it only be those two depicted? If this is saying that everybody's the same, everybody's one, everybody that belongs here, why would it be saying that? Why would it only use these two very small segments of people? I'll tell you why. Because what you're looking at here is there is neither Jew, there is neither Yahwadah or Yahudim, nor Greek. The reason it's saying this is because a lot of the Yahudim had evaded the ways of Israel, the Israelite ways, the ways of the Yahudim, and they had become Hellenized, which is they have lived as Greeks, much like our people here today in this society live as Greeks. You're not dealing with the righteous way of the Most High. You're dealing with the ways of America. So this will be saying there's neither Hebrew Israelite nor American. Does that mean the Caucasian Americans? Does that mean the Asian Americans? Does that mean the Africans who come over here to live in America? The actual African sons of Ham? Does that mean the Arab Americans? Does that mean the Italian Americans? No, it doesn't mean any of them. You're dealing with Hebrew Israelites here. So if you are a Hebrew Israelite and you are an American, there's no difference in you two. Yes, you're an American. Yes, you're dealing with the ways of America. But at your core, you are a Hebrew Israelite. You are a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are a member of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So there's no difference between a practicing Hebrew Israelite and a brother who identifies himself as a so-called Black American or an Afro-American or a Negro American at all. There's no difference because we're the same people. What I have, you have. What I'm entitled to, you're entitled to. What I am getting, you have the right to get. It's just in how you operate yourself. There is neither bond nor free. There is a bond or free. If you're a bond servant, then you're not free. So that doesn't make any sense if you're reading it the way you're reading it. There's neither male nor female. Obviously, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Is Paul teaching us, is Shaul teaching us that ignore all of these things, that you will all be only one under Hamashiach, Yehoshua? Is that what he's trying to teach us here? No. What he's teaching us is not to ignore these things, but despite all of these things, despite that you are a Hebrew Israelite or an American, despite that you are a free man or a servant or a free man, despite the fact that you are a male or a female, we are all one under Hamashiach, Yehoshua, because he died for us. He didn't die for the righteous, just for the righteous Yahudim. He died for the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Let's prove that. Let's prove that with Scripture. It's like this mouse is terrible. Forgive me for that. All right. So here it goes through the generations of Messiah. But this is where we want to get right here. 21. Book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 21. It says, well, let's get the context. Let's get the full context. I'm trying not to do this whole story here. Okay, so let me just give a little bit of this background wise. Joseph and Mary. Joseph, wife comes up, is pregnant. It's not his wife yet. They're espoused. So she's pregnant. And he wanted to deal with her on a private matter about that situation. While he thought on these things, behold, a Malach of Yahuwah appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of Dawid, fear not to take unto you Mary your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of HaKodesh Ruach. And she shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Yahushua. Why? Why would you call him Yahushua? for he shall save his people from their sins. The name Yehoshua, means Yah's salvation, or Yah saves. That's why his name is Yahushua, not this J word. This is an abomination to us. All right? His name was never that. This is wicked. His name means he saves. Yahuwah saves. Yah saves. That is Yahushua, not this J word. All right? Not the C word, because not that JC, because nobody said to him ever in life, hey, JC. If you said that to him, he wouldn't hear you, because you're not talking to me. That ain't my name. That's like you calling me, hey, Charlie. Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Like, I wonder where Charlie at? Is this the person keep calling him? I don't really suspect you calling me, because my name ain't Charlie. His name is not JC. His name is Yehoshua HaMashiach. And he shall save his people from their sins. Yah saves. Yehoshua. Yah saves. Yahushua. Yehoshua. Yahushua. I'm saying the same thing. I'm just putting stress in different places. But some people do it that way. All right. So there is neither Hebrew Israelite nor American. There is neither working man nor retired man. There is neither male or female. For you are all one in Hamashiach, Yehoshua. That's what this literally says. That is what this is showing you. Whether you are practicing Hebrew Israelite or you are some other, you're practicing something different, you are still a Hebrew Israelite. Let's continue.
For ye are all one, making it clear that the foundation of the Bible is not division, but unity, dignity, and equality for all.
For the nation of Israel, not for all, for the nation of Israel. Again, when you don't know these things, you're going to insert and just put things in places that you don't understand. So if you don't understand this, you shouldn't be trying to teach it, because this is wrong. Just like this depiction is wrong. This is not what happened in Jerusalem. These people would be dead in Jerusalem because the sun would devour them. That's why they didn't stay in Jerusalem like that. This guy in the middle, who's supposed to be who is the white JC character, he would have died. He would have been dead because the sun would have cooked him. He would have been cooked, all right? He would not have made it for the time that he did. There's no way he could have survived 33 years in this climate. He would have been dead. Much like those people who are over there now are dying greatly. They go over there for a bit and then they have to move their behinds because they're over there cooking.
The distortion only came later from those in power who twisted these teachings to serve their own interests.
Yeah, the distortion did come later from those in power who did twist the teachings, who tried to make an all-inclusive doctrine that does not fit the doctrine that the scriptures gives.
Meanwhile, in striking contrast to the Bible's long historical narrative, the Quran is a shorter, more focused scripture. The
Quran is garbage, all right? The Quran has no place in anything that deals with the children of Israel, you so-called black men, women, children, and you Negroes. If you are descended through the transatlantic slave trade or the sub-Saharan slave trade, or you have any descendants or any people who went through that, you are the children of Israel.
holy book of Islam, revealed in 7th century Arabia. The Quran does not narrate.
Exactly. This is the Arabian religious setup. We don't serve them. They don't serve us. The Arabian religious setup is Satan. They serve Satan. I'll prove that to you as well. I'll prove that to you as well. See, Hazakiyahu is happy to teach the Bible. 2 and is it 21? Yep. Here it is. So we can clearly see these are red letters. This is the words of Hamashiach speaking here. It says, to the Malik of the church in Pergamos. Where's Pergamos? Let's get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. These things saith he with the sharp sword with two edges. This is Hamashiach saying this. I know your works and where you dwell, even where Satan's seat is, and you hold fast my name and have not defied my faith. Or denied, have not denied my faith. Even in those days wherein Athamas was my faithful martyr, whom was slain among you, where Satan dwells. Where does Satan dwell? Where does Satan dwell? Well, let's pull that up. Let's get that real quick. Where does Satan dwell? Where does this Satan dwell? Where could it be? It's got to be the biggest mystery ever. Okay, so who is he writing to here? He's telling him to write this to Pergamos. Where is Pergamos? Let's go to this word. Pergamos. Pergamos, height or elevation is what it means. It is a city in Asia Minor. In Asia Minor, the seat of dynastic of Atlas and all of these different things that it's talking about. What is important here? You know what? Let's do this. So this is in Asia Minor. What is Asia Minor? What is Asia Minor? Where is Asia Minor? Where is this at? Let's get to it. Ozaki Yahoo gonna show you. Where is Pergamos? Oh, looky here. Pergamos, also spelled in these couple of different ways, is an ancient Greek city located in western Anatolia, Turkey. It's in Turkey. What is Turkey? Let's see it on the map. Should just take me there. Let's see. Let's see here. Here it is. Here is Turkey. Oh, there we go. There we go. See this right here? This is Satan's seat. This is Satan's seat. Let's see what's there. Here's a restaurant. Here is, I don't know what that is. Here's another restaurant. Here's a gas station. Look like a gym there. This is what Satan's seat is. How about that? This is like a mosque. Oh, a mosque. Look at that. Right in the midst of Satan's seat is a mosque. Go figure. There's a mosque there. What else we got here? Is that a tanning place? I don't know what that is. Anyway, a few restaurants, a gas station, traditional house, a gym, coffee spot, cafe, stopover, restaurant, mosque, Pergamos, Turkey, Pergamos. Satan's seat, right here. I know, it looks like just a regular place, doesn't it? But it's not. It's Satan's seat. You know, how do we know it's Satan's seat? Because Scripture teaches us that. Where Satan dwell. And this is Pergamos. I know where you at. With Satan's seat is there. Where Satan dwell. He lives there. Where does he live? In Turkey. So you try to make Turkey, or you trying to make Islam into something decent, and it's not. Talking about a holy book of Islam. There's no holy book of Islam. Islam is wicked because it doesn't serve the Most High.
Revealed in 7th century Arabia. The Quran does not narrate history in the same way, nor does it list genealogies of nations, so it doesn't mention black people or specific African ethnic groups by name in the way the Bible references Cushites or Ethiopians.
You know why it doesn't? Because it's a man-made book. It's not inspired by the Most High. It's not given by the Most High. It's not given by the Israelites. It's given by the Ishmaelites. So you have to understand the full history. And in a brief synopsis, when you deal with Father Abraham, which we talked about earlier, we talked about his wealth and so on and so forth. He had a son named Isaac. To Isaac went everything. But what about Ishmael? Ishmael is the son of Isaac, of us. Like Ishmael is the son of Abraham, brother of Isaac. But what happened with Ishmael? Why did Ishmael not get everything that he should have gotten? Because Isaac was the son of promise. And let's prove that. Let's show you that right here in the text. All right? This is Bereshith, chapter 25, verse 1. It says, and again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. This is post Isaac and Ishmael. And she bare him, I'm not going to go through all these names, but she bare him various sons. All right? And they had sons. And all of these were the children of Keturah. You read those on your own. All right? And Abram gave all he had to Isaac. Why would he give all he had to Isaac if he had all of these children? Because Isaac was the son of promise. And he was the only son of promise. Not every seed that came out of Abraham would be a child of promise. But Isaac would be the son of promise. What does that mean for those other children? But unto the sons of the concubines, what is a concubine? A concubine is a foreign woman who you make a wife. She's a foreigner, but you make her a wife. That is a concubine. This woman is a concubine, or these women are concubines. He gave all he had unto Isaac, but unto the sons of the one concubine. No, the concubines which Abram had, Abram gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son. When he was alive, while he yet lived, where did he send them? He sent them eastward into the east country. So where is eastward to the east country? Well, when you're dealing with at this time Canaan, the land of Canaan, which would soon be the land of Israel, you're talking about Edom or Arabia. All right. He sent them eastward to the east country where they would go into Arabia. Arabia was given to Esau, and Ishmael was there. That was all who was there. So again, this is not about Caucasian and black. This is more about the sons of the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right, not about white and black or about this nation and that nation. It's about the children of Israel and all of our enemies. Who are the enemies of the children of Israel? The whole world. Everybody is against the children of Israel. All right? Continue.
Nowhere in the Quran are people characterized as inferior or cursed due to skin color.
Yeah, it does say that. Yeah, they do deal with black people like that very negatively, even though it says some other things differently, but it also says some, and I can't tell you exactly where it is, so I'm just going to leave that. But
in fact, the Quran's only direct references to human skin colors come in the context of celebrating human diversity or using color as a metaphor, never to ascribe value or stigma to any race.
And here's the crazy thing. See, I mentioned earlier, the sons of Noah. We're talking about this side of the flood. Noah was on the ark, his wife, his three sons, Shem, Japhet, Shem, Ham, and Japhet, and they all three had wives. And they made it to this side of the flood, and they repopulated the earth on this side. So Ham produced these dark people. Shem produced the Negroes, the Indians, or the people in India, and some various other dark-complected people. And so does that tell you that that Noah would have been what? Noah would have been Negroid as well. Noah would have been a black man as well. So Noah was black. His sons were black. Their wives were black. We were all black people at that time. We were all black people. What happens is you separated. You got the sons of Yaakov. I'm jumping that gun. You got the sons of Shem, who took what's called the Middle East, who would have went eventually into the land of Canaan. You had the sons of Ham, who would have went into the hotter area, which is Archebulon, the deeper part of Archebulon. And then you have the sons of Japhet, who would have went into Europe, where they would have been whitened, where they would have turned white, because they would have mixed themselves with the animals there. And that's not coming from Hazakiyahu, that's coming from them. They say that they mix with animals during those times. And I'll bring that video forth as well soon, but let's continue here.
The Islamic message from its very inception was explicitly anti-racist and internationalist. This was a revolutionary stance in a tribal society where lineage and skin color often determined one's status. One of the most powerful Quranic verses on human equality proclaims in Quran chapter 49, verse 13, "O mankind, we created you from a male and a female and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may know one another. Truly, the most honored of you in God's sight is the most righteous of you."
Yeah, and it's funny that that says that. I've not read the Quran extensively, but I will show you that the Bible does not solidify that. think it's 32 is what I want. Slack it was one moment. Yeah, okay. So check this out. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided, he didn't bring us together, he divided to the nations their inheritance. He separated. No, the Quran says he brought us together so that we can know each other. No, he separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds or the amounts of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. The Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, and he separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds or the amounts of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So this is this tells you that the Quran, which is not ancient, not real, is also not line up with what's written in the text. It's a farce. But let's continue.
God is all-knowing, all-aware. In this verse, the
And this is not the power of the Bible. This is not the power of the Israelites. This is a cheap imitation knockoff.
Quran directly rejects all notions of racial or tribal superiority, stating that differences in lineage or ethnicity are only for identification or knowing one another.
That doesn't even make sense. If the Most High wanted us to be together as one, he would have made us together as one. Just like he made the Malachim together as one. He didn't make the Malachim together as one. He didn't make us together as one. He made us separate. He could have made us all from one. We are the sons of Adam, so why not all just be one? Why we're not all Adamites? Because he knew that there was going to be righteous and wicked, and there was going to be a chosen line, and there was going to be everything else.
Not for hierarchy.
Even the sons of Noah. Why not make it? Why we're not all Noahites? Because he knew that there was going to be a righteous seed, the seed of Shem to Eber, to Abram, to his children, Isaac, Jacob, and the children of Israel. And everybody else, they don't do their own thing.
The only measure of merit before God is one's character, taqwa, or righteousness, not one's color or nationality. Quran chapter 30, verse 22 reminds humanity that all people originated as one and that the diversity of your languages and your colors, these are among the signs of God. In other words, our different skin tones are a deliberate, beautiful sign from the Creator, as purposeful as the varied tongues we speak. This Quranic perspective elevates racial diversity as something to appreciate, not eliminate or rank. Islamic scripture therefore frames human variety, black, white, and everything in between, as part of divine intention.
False. That's because the Quran is fiction. All right, not real. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Talking about the children of Israel. You know what? Let's go to chapter 1. Let's go to verse 1. Actually, let's go to chapter 1. These be the words in which Moses spake to all Israel on the side of Jordan, All right, so this is what he's speaking to the children of Israel. Verse 7, chapter 7, verse 6. Moses is telling us this right here and now. For you are a Kodesh, or holy people, unto Yahuwah your power. Yahuwah your power have chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So you are a special people above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That does not coincide with what the Quran teaches, because the Quran is not the word of the Most High. The Quran is the words of the man who was Muhammad, who was a servant of effectively nothing, because he served Satan, and Satan is nothing to the children of Israel, to the power of Israel. He's nothing. All right, let's continue.
Importantly, the Quran was not just theory. Its values were put into practice by Prophet Muhammad and the early Muslim community.
Muhammad was a so-called white man.
Muhammad emphatically preached equality in his famous last sermon, delivered in the year 632 CE in front of a vast
Well, he was an Arab.
gathering. No Arab has any superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab.
Yeah, and then they did the Sub-Saharan slave trade, where they not only took the people of Kebulon into captivity, mostly the Israelites, into captivity, but they also castrated a vast majority of them, eradicating the whole line of our people.
No white person has any superiority over a black person, nor does a black person have any superiority over a white person, except by righteousness. This explicit declaration condemned the very idea of racial hierarchy.
That's true as far as this is concerned, the Quran, but that is not what the Most High, the power of Israel, says. The power of Israel gives hierarchy to the children of Israel, not to all mankind. The book of the children of Israel is the book of the children of Israel, not the book of the whole nation, of the whole world. Yes, it is dealing with the nation of Israel, and it's telling us about what's going to happen, or what has happened, or what will happen with our enemies, but that doesn't mean that it's for them, it's for us. If I'm telling my children that you got to watch out for your enemies out there, does that mean I'm telling them that their enemies are going to have great, this and that? No. Is that what I'm giving them for their enemies? No, it's for them to know what their enemies are going to do. That's exactly what what the scriptures do for us. The Torah, the Tanakh, the Brit Hadashah, the Apocrypha, all of this is for us and for our learning.
It established the ideal that a person's value is decided by their deeds and piety, not.
That is absolutely true. You are decided by your deeds, how you operate and how you serve the Most High. And that's how we're going to be judged, by doing that which is right according to Torah, not according to our own bellies, but to Torah.
By ethnicity or skin.
And that is ethnicity and skin, because it has to deal with the children of Israel, who in the flesh are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The Quran itself uses color terms only in symbolic ways, and Islamic scholars have made it clear these are metaphors, not commentary on race.
Okay, commentary on race, regardless. That's the Quran is without value. It's worthless, because you're not going to stand in front of the power of the Quran and be judged. You're going to be judged by the power of Israel, as written in the scriptures. You're not going before the power of Ishmael. You're going before the power of Israel. You're not going before the power of Muhammad. You're going before the power of Israel. All right.
For instance, Quran chapter 3 verse 106 describes how on the day of judgment some faces will be bright or white with joy, and others dark or black with grief, depending on their deeds. In these cases, white and black are used figuratively, light for happiness or honor, darkness for sadness or disgrace. Unfortunately, detractors or the uninformed sometimes pull such lines out of context to accuse the Quran of racial bias, as if it said white equals good, black equals bad. But Muslim scholars, ancient and modern, have unanimously explained that these verses refer to emotional states or moral outcomes, not literal skin color.
Okay, and I get that 100%. I'm gonna cut this off because this is overly repetitive. Uh, but I understand exactly where you're coming from. But again, you have to deal with this from the correct standpoint. You're trying to elevate the Quran to goodness when the Quran is evil and wicked, because it is not the scriptures. It is not coming from the scriptures, and you're not going to deal with the scriptures in righteousness. Uh, it's not an alternative to the scriptures. It is the Ishmaelite ideology, the Ishmaelite doctrine, and you're not going to get what is good from the Ishmaelite doctrine, because the Ishmaelite doctrine is garbage. It's absolutely garbage, and that's really what it boils down to. It's fine for Ishmael, but guess what it means for Israelites? It means evil. It means unruliness. It means you're serving a deity or an idea of a deity that you should not be serving. So this is not something that you should be doing, that we should be dealing with. All right. All praises to the Most High, Yahuwah, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahushua. This is your Akazaki Yahuwah. I want to thank you for joining me in this endeavor and looking through this information. And thank you for your patience and joining me through this. Hope you've learned something valuable and take away something good from this particular setup, from this particular information. Remember, we're imploring you to pray with us at least 3 times daily. In the morning when you get up, before you have dinner, and before you go to bed. Pray with us. All right? Do your normal prayer, thanking the Most High, lifting up his name, extolling him, asking forgiveness for your sins, your transgressions, your iniquities. Asking him to create in you a clean heart and renew the right ruach on the inside of you. Confessing the sins of our ancestors, those that came before us, that moved the Most High to wrath and caused us to be scattered among these nations. And then asking the Barakah for the nation of Israel, scattered to the 4 quarters of the earth. Your tribe, your people, your community, your village, your household, your children, your spouse. And then adding to that, Psalms, Telahim chapter 25, 2 through 7, Telahim chapter 31, 17 through 21, and Luke chapter 1, 68 through 75. Also, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 36, 1 through 17. And finally, 2 Maccabees, chapter 1, 24 through 30. Say these prayers 3 times a day with your all-natural frankincense and myrrh incense burning. And watch the Most High deliver us out of this captivity. We do this for a very specific purpose. Romans chapter 10 and verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire in prayer for Israel is that they might be saved. My prayer and desire to Ha'abba for Israel is that they might be saved. We hope, we look for the day that the Israelites are saved from all these lands wherein we have been scattered, from all this oppression, from all of this evil that has been done to our people, for all of these millenniums. How are we going to do it? First of all, keeping the faith and belief in Hamashiach, the Messiah, to do that which the Most High has set forth for him to do. Bring the children of Israel home and put us back to prominence as the Most High intended. And also, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is so very important to understand it. In the conclusion of the whole matter, we are to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. At the end of the day, when it is all said and done, all the dust is settled, and all the smoke is cleared, we will be judged on whether we have feared the Most High and kept His commandments. Why? Because this is the whole duty of man. I am your Akazaki Yahoo, AOY. Thank you again for joining us. Giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bashem Hamashiach, Yahushua, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom, wa baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day when the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies, our adversaries, and all those who hate us under our feet. Until that day come, shalom, family.